Tested!
Most people who buy laptops look for a good mix of power and portability. With Asus's G73Jh, the former is definitely emphasized over the latter. This is a massive 17-inch gaming notebook, one of the largest we've tested, and surprisingly, it's significantly cheaper than its nearest competitors. First, let's examine the design. Asus crafted this laptop to resemble a stealth fighter, with its matte black finish and pretty menacing angles. With stealth being its design theme, this laptop is pretty much as subtle as a 17-inch gaming laptop gets. It doesn't include any fancy lights or flair common to its competition. Take away that shiny Asus logo and it looks like something a super spy could carry around. The massive 17-inch LED backlit screen though is anything but subtle. Colors are bright and vibrant on the 1920 by 1080 panel, making high-def movies and full-screen games look especially glorious. There's a dedicated button to change display modes for movies and games, which also helps with the color balance. Two-channel speakers produce very crisp highs and don't distort when cranked up to the max, but the tiny subwoofer doesn't add enough oomph to really balance out the sound. Speakers aside, as a media machine, the G73Jh doesn't disappoint. You can even use it as a Blu-ray player and output both video and high-def audio over the HDMI port to your living room TV. On the productivity side, performance was a little bit of a mixed bag. The quad-core Core i7-720QM CPU is no slouch, but it didn't produce the fastest numbers we've seen either. Our Photoshop script finished in a record 2 minutes and 55 seconds, but handbrake encoding of a 21-minute video took 6 minutes. That's twice as long as the Alienware M15X I reviewed, but that machine was equipped with a faster and considerably more expensive Core i7-920XM CPU. While the G73Jh doesn't have the absolute fastest CPU, it more than makes up for it on the graphics side. This laptop is equipped with an ATI Mobility Radeon 5870, which is the fastest mobile GPU available today. It's equivalent of ATI's 5770 on the desktop side in performance and features, and it's one of the few mobile parts that includes DirectX 11 compatibility. At native resolution, our Crysis test ran at 17 frames per second with all settings maxed out and ran at a comfortable 30 FPS with settings set just to high. Far Cry 2 and Dirt 2 both ran at close to 40 FPS with every feature turned on, which is pretty impressive when you remember the display's native resolution is a whopping 1920 by 1280. Sure, there are laptops with dual video cards that are faster than the G73Jh, but those are priced at above $3,000. The upshot is that you'll be able to play the vast majority of modern games at native resolution on the G73Jh with very few compromises, something we just couldn't say about the Alienware M15X. The laptop is also relatively cool compared to other gaming laptops we've tested, and is definitely quieter during both in-game and while using desktop apps. This is because Asus designed the cooling system to pull in air from a fine mesh above the keyboard, funneling it through two separate fans, one for GPU, one for CPU, and then venting it out two exhausts in the back. It's an interesting innovation that really works well in practice. Rounding out the hardware specs are 8GB of DDR3 memory in dual channel mode and two 500GB hard drives for a total of 1TB of storage space. The hard drives aren't as fast as SSDs, but they're 7200 RPM drives that are fast enough to boot Windows Desktop in under a minute, which is perfectly respectable. So why would anyone not buy the G73Jh instead of another 17-inch laptop like Apple's pricey MacBook Pro? The answer: battery life and portability. The battery life on the removable 8-cell lithium-ion battery was pretty dismal. I only managed to squeeze about 1 hour of local video playback before things got choppy, and 10 minutes later, the laptop shut down completely. Gaming battery life was even worse, and the laptop actually blue screened on me after less than 30 minutes of play due to a dead battery. And as you can probably tell, Asus did not design the G73Jh with portability in mind. It's more than 2 inches thick at its thickest point, and the whole thing weighs more than 8 pounds. Add another pound for the power brick, and it's easy to see why this is not something you want to carry with you every day. In fact, the short battery life and heftiness of the G73J really limits mobility of any kind. I can't imagine bringing this beast as a carry-on on a plane just to watch video for an hour, or even using it on a train commute. In fact, I doubt you can even open it enough to use it on the couch seat of a domestic airline. Along with the ample chassis comes an ample keyboard. The G73J has a full-size backlit keyboard, including a full numpad on the right. The chiclet keys were very comfortable and responsive to type on, and the only time I felt cramped was when using the directional keys, which are squeezed between the numpad and the primary keys. There are no customizable macro keys or dedicated media buttons, and the only extra fixed buttons are 3 shortcut keys, 1 set to change the display mode, 2 activate automated overclocking, and 3 toggle ambient blue light. The aforementioned overclocking button bumps both the GPU and the CPU up by around 5%, though performance games were not really noticeable in day-to-day use. Still, it's a nice feature and didn't cause the laptop to overheat either. I was also very pleased with the large trackpad on this laptop. It's still not as smooth as a glass trackpad on MacBooks, but the cursor never got stuck when I used it. The mouse buttons on the trackpad are also joined as a single long button with 2 depression points, which made it difficult to hit both left and right click at the same time should you ever need to. Like the Asus EPC I reviewed a month ago, this laptop came with a ton of software installed on top of Windows 7 Home Premium, much of which you might find unnecessary. Not only do you get Asus's suite of web storage, online store, and backup utilities, you also get a Microsoft Office trial, Cyberlink Power DVD, and webcam software. Giving this laptop a clean start before you move your personal files onto it is highly recommended. But we don't mind the extra software maintenance work if that helps pay for Asus's generous warranty. In addition to a standard 2-year warranty on parts and labor for any defects, you also get a 1-year accidental damage warranty and 30-day warranty on the LCD panel. That means you can accidentally spill coffee on the G73J or even drop it in a fire, and Asus will repair it for you. That's a pretty sweet deal. And even without the warranty, the G73Jh doesn't break the bank with its retail price of just $1,700. You can actually even save $100 by opting out of the Blu-ray drive, but given how good Blu-ray movies looked on this, I'd recommend keeping that option. I don't think you need 2 500GB drives, but there's no model for a single hard drive with the Blu-ray. And if you're looking to buy this laptop from retailers like Newegg or Best Buy, make sure you choose the model with a full 1920 by 1080 resolution screen and not the 1600 by 900 resolution SKU. It really makes a big difference on the 17-inch panel. This is a great primary gaming computer for the price, but I wouldn't recommend it as a companion machine if you already have a desktop gaming rig. The Asus G73Jh is a fine desktop replacement that is great for gaming while staying well under $2,000. But the desktop is where you'll want to keep it given its substantial size and short battery life.